In this example, we're going to look at how to simplify an expression like this. I have 4 minus 3 times the quantity m plus 8. So we talked about in class how when we have expressions like this, I know that when the directions say simplify, I'm going to have to make my expression smaller, more compact. I'm going to have to probably combine some like terms. Now the other thing that you should hopefully be thinking is I have parentheses, so I know I'm going to have to do something with that. When you're looking, you see that you've got this 3 sitting right outside the parentheses. So in class, we talked about how this 3 needs to get distributed to both terms inside the parentheses. Now one thing you need to be exceptionally careful about is that 3 sitting in front of the parentheses, that is not a positive 3. Remember, we read math from left to right. So this is a positive 4. And this minus sign gets included with this 3 to make the entire thing a negative 3. That's oftentimes really tough for kids to see. So try to get in the habit of thinking which terms are positive, which terms are negative. It'll help you when you start working with more complex stuff. Okay, so let's actually get down to distributing. This 4 is just going to be hanging out, so that's going to carry down. Nothing's going to change. The first term is when I take this negative 3 and I'm going to multiply by the first term inside the parentheses, which would be m. So negative 3 times m. In the parentheses, there is a plus sign, so that's going to drop down and stay the same. Now that second term for my distribution, I'm going to take the negative 3 and multiply by that second term in the parentheses, the 8. So as you can see, when we distributed, here's this negative 3 being multiplied by the m, and here's this negative 3 being multiplied by the 8. So we just attached it to both terms. Now we need to simplify a little bit. I think the obvious one to see is that negative 3 times 8 is going to give us a negative 24. So I'm going to put that right there. If you want to, you can still put that plus sign there, but it's unnecessary. Because here, that negative 3 times m, we can just write as negative 3m. And again, that 4 is just hanging out. Okay, so at this point in time, we've got 4 minus 3m minus 24. We are super close to being totally done. The problem is that I've got a 4 out here and a negative 24 over here. These are like terms, so I need to combine these. Let me write these out to make it a little bit clearer. I have 4 minus 24. See how I'm writing exactly what I have in my circled terms? Now remember from our previous unit, subtracting, not our favorite, so I'm going to change this one to adding the opposite. Once I do that, it's a little bit easier for me to see that this is a war. The negatives are going to win this war. Turns out there will be 20 of those negatives left. 20 of those negatives left. So that's the first part of my answer, negative 20. And that negative 3m didn't combine with anyone else, so that's going to be the second part of my answer, negative 3m. The negative 20 comes from combining the constants here. The negative 3m is still there for the ride. This is my totally complete answer. I know I can't simplify anymore because the first term is a constant and the second term has an m on it. I can't put those two together.